Hey, what is up? So for this video, I actually want to talk about a very interesting plot detail that occurred in the first episode of season 6 of Better Call Saul, entitled Wine and Roses, where we saw just how Lalo Salamanca was able to fake his own death. So getting right into it, following the shootout that ensued in the final episode of season 5 of Better Call Saul, entitled Something Unforgivable, we then saw Lalo leave his hacienda and trudge out into the night. It was then revealed to us that the next time we saw Lalo in the premiere of season 6 of Better Call Saul was at this small home at what appeared to be a Mexican village. We then see him walk up to the owners of this home and speak with a woman named Sylvia. It's then revealed to us that Lalo knows this family very well. Following some small talk between the two of them, where we can see that this woman has a great amount of respect for Lalo, calling him Don Eduardo, his first name, we then see what appears to be her husband, Mateo, come in this house as well. We then see some small talk ensue between Lalo and this man, Mateo, prior to Mateo going into the bathroom to shave his face. Again, we don't know why he's doing this for Lalo, but there's definitely an overt amount of respect that these two characters have for Lalo Salamanca. Then following Mateo going into the bathroom, we then see some small talk converse between Lalo and Sylvia, where Lalo asks Sylvia if Mateo's teeth are doing much better. To which she responds yes, saying that before that Lalo paid for him to have the dental work done, he would cry in pain every single night from all of his toothaches. However, that being said, this piece of dialogue right here in this scene displays to us exactly how Lalo was able to fake his own death in season 6. Because then following Lalo going into the bathroom to look over Mateo, and Mateo asks him, "How does his trimmed beard look?" Lalo then responds, "Very handsome." Then following Mateo looking down at the sink to wash his face, Lalo's jovial, smirking demeanor then shifts immediately to a much more serious one. And so, in my opinion, with all of this backstory being presented here, it appears in an extremely sadistic nature, Lalo Salamanca ingratiated himself with this family in Mexico because this man looked just like Lalo Salamanca, and it appears that Lalo was keeping this man around almost as a sheep to be used to be slaughtered should Lalo ever be in a situation where he needs to fake his own death, which is why he paid for Mateo's dental work to match his completely, of course, unbeknownst to Mateo that this was being done. And just thinking that maybe this dental work was being provided for him altruistically and not to be used as a charred out corpse with matching dental records, should he ever be needed to be used as one by Lalo. And it really shows just truly what a sociopath Lalo Salamanca appears to be, where he can use his incredibly charming demeanor and of course his vast amount of wealth to most likely provide for this family in a manner where they most likely think is a result of just purely altruism, but truly these two people are more along the lines being used as farm animals, where Lalo was taking care of them only to then slaughter them at his convenience to be used to service means that benefit him, in this case faking his own death. And while this entire story has not been told as of the conclusion of the first 2 episodes of season 6 of Better Call Saul, based on everything that was foreshadowed to us in the first episode of the season 6 premiere, it's extremely likely that due to Lalo taking apart the scissors and using it as a knife, it's likely that he killed both of these people, the husband and wife, and then used Mateo's body as a corpse to fake his own death. Because following this scene of Lalo at this home, this storyline then picks up back at Lalo's hacienda, where following the cousins walking through the crime scene to see if Lalo is truly dead, they then stumble upon this completely charred out corpse, which they believe to be Lalo Salamanca, likely due to the body looking just like Lalo's. It was then, of course, revealed to us in the second episode of this premiere that when Gus asked Tyrus how they knew that this was Lalo Salamanca, Tyrus then said to Gus that the dental records even check out, thus confirming that Lalo Salamanca was dead.
Incident report, autopsy report, site map. It all checks out. Dental records, too.
Of course, unbeknownst to them, that this was a body double who had dental work done just to be a body double corpse should Lalo ever be in a situation where he needs to fake his own death. Again, the level of evil genius here that Lalo was planning and being prophylactic about should a situation like this ever arise is unbelievably twisted and sadistic in my opinion, which truly just adds additional layers of depth and complexity to Lalo Salamanca as this sort of sociopath evil genius for sure. Where he had the foresight to find a man who looked just like him, get dental records to match his own, and then, should he ever need to fake his own death, kill this man and char his corpse beyond physical recognition, yet following forensic analysis of his teeth, it would then match out to Lalo Salamanca. Just an unbelievable level of evil genius, in my humble opinion. So yeah, that being said, even though we know that this appears to be the storyline here, that Lalo killed these two people and used this man as a charred out corpse to be his body double, we don't yet know how exactly this happened and what chain of events led to Lalo burning this man's corpse. Because if we remember back to the final episode of season 5 of Better Call Saul entitled Something Unforgivable, there was no fire that ensued during that shootout. Yet when we see Lalo's hacienda from the aerial shot, we can see that the roof of the hacienda had been burned. So it's most likely the case that following Lalo leaving the shootout initially, seeing this family, he then killed Mateo and Sylvia at some point in time and then took his body back to his house and then set the body on fire, making it look as though this fire happened when the shootout occurred. Tyrus also saying in this scene in the second episode that the Federales believe that someone was cooking when the whole thing went down.
How did the fire start?
It began at the kitchen stove. They think someone was cooking when it all went down.
So yeah, I really think we're likely going to see more of this story displayed to us, likely in a flashback of how Lalo killed this man and how he was able to bring his corpse back to his hacienda and then set it on fire. Again, unbelievable twisted planning here by Lalo Salamanca as an insurance policy should he ever need one. And definitely not what I was expecting at all when we saw this character teased in the trailer for season 6 of Better Call Saul. So yeah, I definitely think it's possible, and maybe even in the cold opening of the next episode, maybe we'll see a flashback to this storyline that I just discussed here. It would be really interesting to see. Additionally, in respect to this plot of Lalo Salamanca faking his own death, it was revealed to us at the end of the first episode that Lalo told Hector that he was actually alive. And of course, Hector then telling Lalo not to kill Gus right away without proof. Lalo saying that he didn't have any proof, but then following some introspection, he then realizes that there is proof, most likely Nacho Varga being the loose end who could incriminate Gus Fring to Don Eladio and the cartel. A very important plot detail that will definitely ensue over the course of the first half of the season. And finally, the last bit of intrigue in respect to the storyline is, why did Hector Salamanca apparently give away the fact that Lalo Salamanca was not dead? Because, like I said, there are a lot of mysteries here and we don't know the case for certain, but either Hector has a very bad poker face and gave away the fact that Lalo was still alive to Gus Fring when Gus Fring and Juan Bolsa visited him at Casa Tranquila, or this was all part of Lalo and Hector's plan to tell Gus that Lalo was still alive. Again, we don't know which one is the case, whether or not this was intentional by Hector Salamanca, but it's absolutely the case that following Gus, looking at Hector and realizing what this look from Hector meant, he then confirmed to the audience via his phone call with Tyrus that Lalo Salamanca lives.
What did you learn?
Lalo Salamanca lives.
Meaning that truly at this point in time, the only people who don't know that Lalo is still alive is Juan Bolsa, Don Eladio, and the rest of the cartel. Even at this point in time, we don't know whether or not the cousins know that Lalo is still alive because it hasn't been officially confirmed to us. But as we saw in the second episode of season 6 entitled carrot and stick. They definitely want to take Nacho Varga alive because they need him as proof to incriminate Gus Fring, at least for Lalo Salamanca. Again, we don't know if they're working on behalf of Lalo here and they've discussed with Lalo, or whether or not they just want him alive so they can truly torture him for what they did to their cousin. Because as Marco Salamanca said when he could have shot Hank Schrader in the face, this would be muy fácil, too easy, and maybe a more dramatic death is needed in revenge for the cousins, should they at this point in time not know that Lalo is actually alive. So again, a lot of mysteries here, a lot of things that were not concretely displayed to us in the first two episodes that will certainly be cleared up over the course of the first half of season 6, all of which I can't wait to see continue to unfold on Monday. All right, that is all I really got for you guys on this one. As always, huge shout out to everyone who watches and comments on my videos. I really appreciate it. Also really appreciate everyone who has subscribed to this channel as well. I've really enjoyed making these videos about season 6 of Better Call Saul, and I can't wait to make many more over the course of this season. And as always, my name is Anton Jackson. Thank you again so much for watching this video.